Eddie's a non-believer.
Really? Oh, claustrophobic.
I'm sorry, what?
Claustrophobic, fear of Santa Claus.
That's ludicrous.
Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Winter Solstice, or happy whatever today is. Because it doesn't matter if you go and actually celebrate any of those other holidays or if it's just a regular day for you. Just know that you tune into somebody that loves to watch Christmas movies. And I'm glad that you're here because today I'm going to go ahead and actually review Dashing Through the Snow. Dashing Through the Snow was an actual family comedy movie that went ahead and actually premiered in November of 2023 on Disney+. Now, it has a runtime of 1 hour and 32 minutes, and it stars Little Real Howie as Nick, Ludacris as Eddie, and Madison Psych Valium as Charlotte, and she plays Eddie's daughter. Okay, so let me give you the details of this particular movie as according to IMDb. A divorced social worker for the Atlanta Police Department despises Christmas due to a painful childhood memory. When sent on a call while spending Christmas Eve with his daughter, he inadvertently invokes the wrath of a local politician, but meets a man who helps him understand the joy and magic of Christmas. So we got all the kind of little nuggets to go ahead and actually be a feel-good kind of Christmas movie or what have you. And because it's a fantasy Christmas movie, this is in the realm of kind of like a Santa story arc and all that kind of good stuff. And let's just face it, any kind of mainstream holiday movie that has black people as main characters on there has a little bit of different perspective on there. So being Christmas, being fantasy, being Santa, and being black folks, I am your target audience for this. And I think that's always important for you to go and actually know what perspective your reviewer has when you're going ahead and actually looking at these types of reviews. Now, I love to go and actually watch new holiday movies when they come out to see if they're worth your time for you, all that kind of good stuff. If you like how any of this sounds, do me a favor, click like, share, subscribe. And now, let me dive deeper into this review for you. So after having watched Dashing Through the Snow, my feel for this type of movie is kind of like it has the DNA of the Santa Claus with Tim Allen in it, as well as a little bit of Ernest Saves Christmas and a little of the absurdity and all that kind of craziness on there. So you know those kinds of movies on there, you'll kind of get a feel for what kind of vibe this movie is giving out there for you. So my quick thoughts about the movie in the first, second, and third acts are, in the first act was kind of slow for me. It takes about like the first 15 minutes of the movie to even get going, to me to even care about watching it, to be honest with you. It's kind of like the usual sad backstory for Christmas, for Ludacris's character, Eddie, and just it doesn't do a whole lot in the very beginning. But it's necessary to go ahead and actually show you that, why he doesn't believe in Christmas. Now, I'll allow for the setup because it's necessary, but it's just, I wish they could get to it in a more entertaining way, to be honest with you. That's how I feel. Now, once we get to Little Real Howie's character being introduced as Nick, that's where the movie starts to pick up, and you start to go ahead and actually feel something about the movie. The plot on why Ludacris and his daughter and Little Real Howie were together and running from the people all night is flimsily set up, but it's set up and away we go. So then we get into the second act of the movie. And in the second act, most of the story of why we're doing what we're doing on there, it just kind of makes no sense. Like, we really kind of strain credibility as far as like, there's plenty of times that everything could have just like ceased and done or whatever and stuff like that, but we've given excuses and inconveniences and all that kind of good stuff on there. So the sensibility of it is kind of like a little off or what have you. The pacing is breakneck speed, which is actually fun because it moves it along so that you don't take too much time on considering how ridiculous the plot is and all that kind of good stuff. So pacing in this particular realm makes it credible. I'm going to go and actually rock with that, at least for this particular movie. Now, one of the things that I know that they pace it fast for is to go ahead and actually show you why Nick is who he says he is. He thinks he's Santa Claus and give you different reasons on why you believe this and everything like that. So in that realm, it's actually kind of fun. And placement of the story as far as credibility makes no sense. It's crazy on there. But we go ahead and actually get some very entertaining scenes throughout in that second act. In the third act, we kind of button everything up very well as a Christmas movie. We kind of come to a satisfactory end. Again, I don't spoil movies, but the ending was fun and it was probably expected from what you would probably generally expect from this kind of movie. But I will tell you this, when you hear the Rocky theme in this movie, if you don't smile, I don't know if you're alive. Now, I actually kind of smiled and kind of chuckled a little bit or what have you, but it was actually fun to go and actually see that. So that's kind of like a little thing to go and actually wait on to watch this particular movie on. But they actually got the ending right for what this movie was going for, and I was satisfied in the ending. So that's the first, second, and third act. Those are kind of my initial thoughts on here. Let me go ahead and actually grade on the story, the acting, and then some intangibles, and we're going to get to this verdict. So, in regards to the story, again, like I said, the story pacing was fast. It was all over the place, and they were trying to get from scene to scene or what have you. But the entertainment value of it was welcome, as most scenes in the middle acts are fun and entertaining. The timeline for this night made no sense. I mean, we're going over just one single night, but it seems like we crammed a whole lot into this one night. So that in itself kind of stretches itself as far as credibility. Now, Christmas movies don't need to be plausible because we're talking about Santa, we're talking about the Christmas spirit, we're talking about those types of things. So I don't need to go and actually go into that. I can suspend disbelief as it being fantasy or what have you. It was one of those types of things where if I'm going to go and actually say, did this film go and actually make a whole lot of sense? Nah, not really. But there's some entertaining things along the way. So for overall, I'm going to go and actually give the storytelling in here about a C. Okay? In regards to acting, so Little Chris's character is supposed to be kind of like stuffy and a Christmas Grinch, and that's what he's plugged out to go ahead and actually be. And he does that, but he's also supposed to be a good dude, and they show a bit of that too. I mean, he is a social worker, and we get to go ahead and actually glimpse of him being a social worker, and he's probably a little in tune to that, and that's one of the kind of the flimsy plots of them kind of still stringing along and why we go on this little journey or what have you. And so the acting for Luda doing this character, it's just kind of average. Like, I didn't like that character a whole much. I mean, I got that he's supposed to be the straight guy and everything else plays off of him, but his portrayal didn't like do that much for me or whatever. So like that. There's a really good thing that we had the daughter that was played by Madison. The daughter's name is Charlotte, and she was actually funny in this. She was cute and smart enough to kind of offset Luda's like kind of very blah and dry character, whatever. So I like that pairing, kind of like how Tim Allen's character in Charlie was in Santa Claus, but they both characters kind of gave you something to feed off of. Here it's really just a kid that really kind of makes you smile and all that kind of good stuff. But what really sets off the acting aspect of it is Little Real Howard. This, for me, I think this might be one of his best movie roles. And I know he's had some other television roles that people really like him or what have you, but as far as movie roles, they haven't really landed for me. But this is actually the first movie role where I really liked him in it. His portrayal of Nick, or Santa, however you want to go ahead and actually say it, it was fun. It was different and it was modernized and all that kind of good stuff. And he really made the journey fun. It was just it was fun to go and actually watch his whole character, his portrayal, his little idiosyncrasies, stuff like that. It was actually fun in this movie.
Why don't you have a white beard?
I dyed it. If I want to look younger, I deserve that.
The rest of the cast was okay, pretty much average overall, but I will go ahead and actually give a special shout out to the Truckle family, I believe is how it's pronounced. I believe they're like a Hispanic, if I'm not mistaken, and it was a family that is brought in around somewhere like the middle of the movie, and we see them, they are just a joy. They kind of appear like 2 or 3 different times in the movie, and they're fun to go and actually watch. So that was actually a fun little group on there. But overall, the acting for the rest of it was kind of average or whatever. But when you go and actually take in the little Charlotte character, little Real Howie's character, that Truckle family, they actually kind of elevate the acting. So for me, I go ahead and actually give it a B for acting on this movie. So in regards to like intangibles for this one, the comedy references were fun throughout. Mostly when Little Real Howard was in the scenes on there, he made it actually fun and palatable and got some good lines in there. And he was convincing, one of the most convincing Santas that were out there. Now there could be a sequel in this, but I don't think that they would go back to the same family. I think if they ran it to a different family or what have you, I think that would be more beneficial for this particular franchise if they want to go forward with it. There are definitely some good scenes that will stick with people. Kind of like the dance hall scene is actually fun. The Truckle family, as I've already mentioned, they were a load of fun. And again, when you hear the Rocky theme, I think everybody's going to smile. And there was some good dialogue. I had some good one-liners and things like that throughout this particular movie. Now, this movie, I think, has a moderate rewatch value. I think it's one that I could see people go ahead and actually throw in. I could see this being like some kid's favorite movie growing up and liking and wanting this to add to the playlist or what have you, because it actually can attract a lot of kids on there, and I think there's some adults that will watch this, so moderate rewatch value on here. But now that's all my reviews, all my thoughts on there. Let me give you my verdict for Dashing Through the Snow. For main target audience members, people that are into Christmas family movies, as well as Little Real Howie fans, I'm going to go ahead and actually say this is a must-watch for this particular season. Okay? Once you get past the first 15 minutes, this movie moves quick, and it has many comedy spots in it, and a few memorable scenes that you'll actually go and actually remember even when the movie is done. It has a fun underlying message and some newly made Santa facts that will have you smiling throughout. Now, for you casual viewers, people that aren't maybe Little Real Howie fans, not Luda fans, for Christmas family movies, you might not be all into that or whatever, and you're just doing a casual view. I'm going to say for you guys, this is put it on as a background movie. And the casuals will probably roll their eyes at the absurdity of the plot holes, and you might not be able to get past that. But the fast pace, the comedic efforts by Little Real Howie in this movie make it that a casual viewer will at least find some fun in this through the season, and you can go and actually sit the little ones in front of there, and they'll probably go ahead and actually get more fun out of it than the average adult viewer. But I still think that it's going to be something that you can go actually throw on and be entertained by it. So again, for main target audience members, I'm going to go and actually say put it on your playlist for this particular season. For casuals, put it on in the background, let you go and actually do some stuff throughout the house while the kiddies are watching it. And that's what I have for Dashing Through the Snow, now showing on Disney+. Check it out.
Who do you work for?
Some people think I work for Mother Nature or Father Time. Recently, everybody thinks I work for Beyonce. But no, every married man will understand this. I work for Mrs. Claus.
You stayed for the entire review. I appreciate you. Do me a favor. You could go ahead and actually put something in my stocking by going and actually clicking like. You could go ahead and actually give me a bigger gift by clicking subscribe. Or you could go ahead and actually continue to watch some of my other reviews here, from my holiday reviews and all that kind of good stuff. And here's a couple of suggestions that the algorithm has out here for you. But until the next time, take care of yourself, have a happy holidays, and I'll talk to you later.